Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm chilling in the shop this afternoon, just trying to get some things done. I was listening to an interview on YouTube on that channel, the Hoover Institute. And they have an interesting channel. You should check it out. All kinds of interviews with intellectuals and politicians and world leaders and whatever, historians. The usual interviewer was talking with 3 different scientists, and they were talking about evolution, debating Darwin and that kind of stuff. One of the scientists, who was is a professor at Harvard, and he's written a ton of books, he made a statement that I thought was worth hashing out, that maybe we could discuss and see if we could get somewhere with it, see what your guys' opinion are on it. It kind of goes against everything that I have always believed, and that's why it's worth talking about. You have to break out of the box with your beliefs and thoughts. So the statement was, beauty is not subjective. Beauty is not subjective. So we think that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? We can all agree on that. This scientist guy from Harvard, who's written a ton of books and seemed rather smart and was fairly entertaining, made a lot of good points in the conversation. He says, no, that's not the case. Beauty is not in the eye of the beholder. There is beauty that exists on its own. I see I have a hard time with it. I'm in the business of custom motorcycles. I've judged custom motorcycle shows. I remember one show that we judged, my brother judged it, I didn't, where one of the people that entered their bike, he wanted to contest his place. I think he got 3rd place. He felt that he should have got 1st place. It is what it is. You get what you get. There were other judges there, and they just take an average, basically, of what everybody says. So if 2 judges say they like the bike and 1 judge says he doesn't like the bike, well, guess what? That bike is going to get someplace 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, whatever. When I saw the bike, I agreed with my brother, as I often do, because we're very similar people. But I agree with him. I actually didn't feel like it should have made 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. If Sky was the judge, that bike would have been, fuck off. Your bike sucks. Fuck you and your stupid fucking bike. But the guy was lucky enough to get a trophy. It's just simply, what is the argument? What was the argument? Whether your bike is cool or not. How cool is your bike? It's just subjective. He thought it was really fucking cool, and we didn't. I've been in the same position. I entered the Rat's Hole bike show many times, and I got 4th place at Daytona one year. 4th place didn't feel very good. My bike was better than the 1st place. They break it up into classes. They have a best of show, but I didn't get best of show. In my class, I got 4th place, and I thought that mine should have got 1st place in my class. It is what it is. You may have some butt-ugly, awful hag of a girlfriend, but you may think she's pretty. None of us think she is, but you might. So I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That to me seems obvious. But what this guy would say, this scientist from Harvard would say, is that we're just arguing over nitpicky bullshit. You're arguing over stuff that's not really true beauty, trying to make something beautiful that isn't truly beautiful. And he has a point. Sticking with the motorcycle analogy, a cool bike, a really awesome motorcycle, everyone loves it. I mean, I've seen people, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who's like, fuck that bike. A cool bike is a cool bike. Just like with a Sunset. There's a point that this guy on the podcast pointed out, was that sunsets, for example, They captivate everyone who sees them. A beautiful sunset, and there are obviously variations, but a really amazing, beautiful sunset isn't just some judgment or perception. It is a thing, and every person who sees it or sees a photo of it will be like, wow. You'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who's like, it's awful. I've seen beautiful women like this. We can say, oh, well, beauty in women is always subjective because there's some models, some actresses, some famous entertainer people that you might like. You might like Kim Kardashian, and I don't. I don't think Kim Kardashian is beautiful at all. I don't care if I had done 20 years in prison and I was just out the first day, I would not fuck her. She's not my type. I don't find her sexually attractive in any way, shape, or form. You might be sitting there thinking, oh man, I love that kind of woman. Well, you know, this guy would say, hey, you're just putting lipstick on a pig. You're arguing over bullshit. When a truly beautiful woman walks in the room, or you see a picture of one, everyone, women alike, men and women, old and young, everyone is like, look at her. And that is kind of true. I've seen that at the gym. I've talked about before how you guys shouldn't be staring at women at the gym. But it's hard to not notice these days sometimes. You have to go in there with blinders on and gouge your eyes out before you go in. And if a really beautiful woman, truly beautiful, just outright, a perfect 10, they do exist. If one of those types walks in the room, every single guy and every girl, every living creature is looking at her. A beautiful painting, a beautiful building. You go to Florence, Italy. It's a beautiful city. People come from all over the world, from China, from Japan, from Russia, from Africa, from every country to Florence, Italy. And they marvel at it. And there's all kinds of places, that buildings that are like that. The Eiffel Tower, I've never been there, but there's people that from all walks of the earth go there and just stare at it, take pictures of it. So there is a life of beauty that exists outside of our minds. It's not, beauty isn't just our perception. And I never really thought about it that way before. That it exists on its own. It helps put it in perspective, I guess, because when you get to the subjective beauty, the beauty that we argue over, is it a cool bike or not? Then honestly, it's probably not. If we have to argue over it, it's probably not true beauty. Now we can find beauty in some people can find beauty in the worst things, in the boring, in the mundane. Those types of people are great artists. That's why I was never a very good photographer. A good photographer could be anywhere, in an alleyway, and get the most amazing photos. Me, it's just a dirty alleyway. I just pass it on by. Nothing in there I want to take a photo of. So you can find beauty and try to draw it out. And that takes your creativity, your inspiration. And people that can do that are amazing creators. But I think beauty does exist on its own. You see a cute puppy, a little laughing baby. Every person can agree on the cuteness. I think it's worthwhile breaking outside the box sometimes and trying to be open to other people's opinions to help to expand your own. Tell me what you think about this topic. If you think beauty is subjective, meaning that it's just your perception. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Or if you agree with the Harvard scientist that beauty exists out in the world as a thing, as its own entity, there's just beauty. It's all food for thought.